At Columbia, you're still not a theater major. You end up a few years later at NYU getting an MFA, but in directing, not in playwriting. Did you know that you were destined to be a playwright? Did you plan to make your significant contribution as a theater director? And what went wrong, or right, I guess, however you want to look at it?
I think I always wanted to be a writer. My father, as I said, is a great lover, especially of poetry. And so I had, and he's a wonderful guy, but very severe about what's good and what isn't good. And he doesn't think of art as therapy. It's like you're either, you can do it or you can't do it. And, you know, it's a musician's. I mean, if you can play the clarinet or you can't play the clarinet. It's like there's no argument about it. If you can't, you may not be Stanley Drucker, but if you can't play the clarinet, you're not going to get a job in the orchestra. So it's like fairly simple for him. So if you're going to write poetry, you should be Keats or don't bother. I had that sort of hanging over my head, and writing is scary. And I didn't want to be a writer if I couldn't make a living as a writer, and that seemed very unlikely. And I just didn't think I was going to be good enough to do it. So directing seemed, I mean, stupidly, I thought, oh, directing's easier. Because, you know, I mean,
it has to be easier than writing a play, I'm certain of that.
Except it isn't, it actually turns out. It's really not. I recently forced myself to direct again for the first time in 17 years because I'm so awful with directors and I make them go through such hell. So you have a degree of a responsibility of censoring yourself and watching yourself and trying to understand what the effect of what you're going to do will be. And you have to believe, I think, that it's going to have some effect, or why would you do it? But it's I think, fatal to believe that the effect that you're going to have is something that you control, and that you know what it's going to be exactly, and that you can change the world directly by writing a play. I don't think you can. You plunge into the darkness, and you flail around, and you try and understand things. And you know, recuperate some meaning from the sort of overwhelming chaos of the world, and then share that with an audience, and then the audience, in this enormously complicated dialogue with the people on stage, and the audience as surrogates for the whole world outside the theater. And the actors, of course, don't live in the theater, they go outside too, so everybody brings the events of the day in and the events of the moment. And then they engage in this hugely complicated conversation while the play is on stage. And that is where meaning is to be found. And, you know, there are 160 seats in this theater, so there are 160 interpretations of the play. And then there are these moments where, if the play works, everybody realizes that however different the experiences that you're having might be, there's a moment or two where you also understand that there are enormously powerful currents and themes that are held in common, and that you're all getting something essential at the same time, which is, I think, the most thrilling thing that happens in theater. And it doesn't happen a lot, but when it happens, you just feel everybody go, oh my God, something, you know, we're not isolated individuals trapped in our little monadic cells, lost to one another. We don't stop at our own skins. We share something, you know, it's like a momentary experience of the universal mind, and which may or may not exist, but theater has this power to kind of make you feel that that's out there somewhere. And that's a, you know, awesome thing to tap into, to feel that you have a shot at being a part of, you know, creating that experience.
That is just a burst blood vessel.
Not according to the best medical authorities.
What? Tell me.
KS, baby. Lesion number 1. Look at the wine-dark kiss of the angel of death. I'm a legionnaire. The foreign legion, the American legion. Legionnaire's disease. My troubles are legion.
Stop!
Having already won the Pulitzer Prize, Angels was then nominated for 9 Broadway Tonys, more than any play in history. It won 4.
I'm a Mormon.
I'm a homosexual.
Oh, in my church we don't believe in homosexuals.
In my church, we don't believe in Mormons.
Yes, it's funny. it handles the serious issues with a slightly comical twist to it.
I think it had some moments that were very funny, especially in the first 2 acts, and then it got very serious.
It's really a roller coaster. There's one funny line followed by one terribly sad line followed by one funny line, so it really carries you through this thing.
I'm sorry. Sick friend. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's sweet. 3 of your colleagues have preceded you to this baleful sight, and you're the first one to ask. The others just opened the door, saw me, and fled. I hope they had to pee real bad. They just didn't want to intrude. Ha! Reaganite, heartless, macho, asshole lawyers. Oh, that's unfair. What is? Heartless, macho, Reaganite, lawyer? I voted for Reagan.
In the 80s, in this country, personal responsibility was something that we lost sight of, and it was about me and what can I get and what can I get for me. And so I think that if there is a main idea, I think that's what people, because now there's enough of a perspective on it, although it's strange to think of the 80s as retro, but there is enough of a perspective that we can go, oh God, what was that about? It was a very strange time, and we all sort of got caught up in it, or a lot of us got caught up in it.
Go on, Henry, it starts with an H.
I'm not going
with an H, Henry, and it isn't hemophilia. Come on!
What are you doing?
Say Roy Cohn you are a homosexual, and I will proceed systematically to destroy your reputation and your practice and your career in New York State, Henry. Which you know I can do.
I'm not.
Well, don't you think I'm handling this well? I'm going to die.
Bullshit.
Let go of my arm.
No.
Let go of my arm. I can't find a way to spare you, baby.
Look up. Look up. Prepare the way.
Al Pacino,
Meryl Streep,
Emma Thompson. I mean, it's the most astonishing group of actors certainly ever assembled to work on anything of mine.
It gets inside, it affects you.
the whole thing is really extraordinary.
What adult hasn't wanted, really secretly in their heart of hearts, to see an angel?
I mean, the story is almost completely impossible to describe.
Look up. It's about everything in terms of all the isms that we live with: racism, sexism, homophobia,
Loyalty and fidelity.
And religion and
the strength of love.
Sex, death, moral depravity. Always a favorite.
It's fantasy and reality.
And a huge sex scene. Let's not forget. Prepare the way.
I saw an angel.
Help me. It sort of came out of a period of real emotional turbulence.
You have no right to do this!
And asking a lot of questions.
You want to be nice or you want to be effective?
I'm sorry that you're psychotic, but just make an effort.
The humor in it is irresistible.
I think he has an amazing vision.
It's filmed with an incredible intelligence and sensitivity to the material.
It has this extra thing that only a Mike Nichols could do.
So no matter how profound he decides to be, it's always funny.
Everybody, I think, will see something different and feel something different.
A lot of people will watch it in order to be enraged by it. A lot of people will watch it not knowing what they're going to see and will be enriched by it.